in the
What should have
UN.
Israel done on October 8th, I guess? Like, what would have been an appropriate response for their government?
Okay, I think what they should have done is begun empowering Palestinians in the West Bank.
This is my favorite answer, Sam.
I think honestly, when you see that your policies have failed, but I don't think this
you
was
actually
their
don't
agenda.
believe that that's a real thing, though. I'm interested in having like a real conversation. You can't like live in a fairy tale land where, in response to the worst military or terrorist attack of all time, Israel, who's already, as you state, like genocidal and racist and all these terrible things, is going to lift their borders and disband their government.
Wait a second. You're asking me what they should have done.
In this video, Sam Seder humiliates Ethan Klein in a brutal debate showdown. Sam Seder and Ethan Klein go head-to-head in one of the most intense debates either one of them has ever had. Ethan comes in pressing for answers, trying to pin down motivations, asking for what should have been done, and pushing Sam to respond in black and white terms. But Sam just doesn't play along. He just keeps pulling the conversation back to the big picture. The decades of policy failure, the imbalance of power, and the reality people try to ignore. Ethan will just keep trying to make it about tactics and hypotheticals, but Sam's not letting any of it slide. He pushes back every time, forces the historical context into the frame, and you can literally feel the shift as the conversation spirals. So make sure to watch till the end to see how Sam Seder humiliates Ethan Klein in this brutal debate showdown.
So let me ask you this. What do you think about October 7th attack?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrific.
This was like a military action by Hamas to what end?
I suspect. I mean, I don't know what the strategy was. I mean, they attacked 2 military bases. I don't know if they were aware of the dance.
The Nova rave.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew that rave was happening. I suspect it was to derail the Abraham Accords, which were going to leave the Palestinians out of the equation, where an authoritarian
you leave out that they attacked Kibbutzim, by the way.
No, yes, of course they did. But I'm saying that they, I don't know what the strategy was on their part.
So what do you think, like, would you expect the response of Israel would be to that?
I had no doubt on that day that Israel was going to respond.
Go insane.
I mean,
yeah, right. It was going to be horrific. We all knew.
Yes, but I think I think the lack of proportionality was just beyond, frankly, and I was aware that this was going to be a horror show, but I don't think I had the level of awareness of what they would do to go in and literally level it, destroy what is it, 80-90% of the structures in Palestine, bomb hospitals, that they would use.
Well, Hamas did know that, because that's why they attacked.
Food as a weapon.
I'm more interested in the justification for what they're doing.
Probably took hostages with the idea that they would be able to negotiate.
I understand why they took hostages. I don't understand why they took children and elderly.
I believe that they probably. I mean, this is all conjecture on my part, that they would be able to trade them as a way to inhibit Israel's doing what they're doing. And I don't know if they could have even imagined that. I'm not going I'm not going to endorse Hamas's strategy here.
Well, I'm just trying to flesh it out here, because this is what I'm getting to is Hamas. I think they knew that this was the reaction that would happen.
So Ethan opens with a heavy question. What do you think about October 7th? And Sam doesn't even flinch. He calls it horrific, just straight up. No hedging. But instead of staying there, Ethan quickly pivots into trying to pin Hamas' intent like it was a clean military action. And Sam's just not playing that game at all. He keeps saying that we don't know the full strategy, and even speculates it could have been about derailing the Abraham Accords. Something most people don't even bring up. And then Ethan does this weird interruption. You leave out the kibbutzim like he caught Sam slipping, when Sam literally just said the attack was horrific. He's clearly not excusing anything. Ethan's already twisting the conversation to frame Sam as downplaying violence, when Sam is actually just trying to explain what led up to it. Sam still gives him an answer though. He says Hamas likely took hostages thinking it would slow down Israel's assault. He's not endorsing it, he's explaining why it happened. Meanwhile, Ethan jumps to this moral grandstanding, why take the kids and elderly, like he's doing some kind of cross-examination. It's clear that he's not actually listening. He just wants to trap Sam in the headline.
You know?
I can't imagine that they assumed that there would be this level of destruction.
I mean, that's why they hate Israel. I don't think they underestimate how violent the IDF can be. You know what I mean? That's why they attacked.
I certainly underestimated that they would go this far. Use
I didn't think they'd go this far, but
bomb hospitals and shoot EMTs and have rules of engagement like this. I mean, and I think Hamas is certainly up to criticism for their strategy here.
If I think that's an understatement.
Well, I mean, if that's the
well, I mean, they're a terrorist organization that intentionally antagonized like the IDF to come mass slaughter their civilians.
I think that they overestimated whether Israel cared about the hostages, without a doubt. I mean, I don't know that there would be anybody who would make a case that this is what was their plan have Israel respond in this way. That's absurd.
Well, and the same is true of, like, I guess Israelis feel the same way. Like, it was totally unprecedented. You know what happened. So maybe they didn't think that their mission would be as successful as it was. On the other hand,
I have no doubt that they did not think that they would that they would have been able to overrun that. I mean, I think we were told that the technology of Israel's fence, et cetera, was perfect and something we should emulate in this country. I mean, Trump was all talking about that. So I have no doubt that Hamas overestimated the IDF. Yeah, I got you. What they would be able to, what kind of destruction they would wreak, and they underestimated the violence that Israel would perpetrate on Gaza. I don't know that anyone could have imagined that Israel would have engaged in this level of destruction and immiseration and bombing churches and bombing hospitals and blowing up universities and destroying the infrastructure. I mean, it's almost beyond belief.
So one thing that when I was talking to Hassan, and I'm just going to talk about his point. This is about him personally. When I asked him, because this is obviously the $1 million question, right?
So Ethan tries to paint this whole thing like Hamas provoked Israel on purpose. Like they were just begging the IDF to slaughter civilians. That's just such a twisted frame. And Sam just isn't having it. He clearly says he didn't think Israel would go that far. Bombing hospitals, shooting EMTs, using food as a weapon. That's not retaliation, that's just full-on destruction. Then Ethan throws in this smug "that's an understatement" line, like Sam's not being harsh enough, even though Sam already said Hamas deserves criticism. It's just lazy framing. And when Sam brings up that Hamas probably thought Israel would care enough to negotiate over hostages, Ethan has no response, because that actually breaks the whole narrative he's pushing. Sam even ends his section strong, pointing out how no one expected Hamas to breach the fence, and how Israel responded by leveling churches, schools, entire cities. Ethan doesn't even try to push back. He just pivots, no counter, no facts, just vibes.
By the way, just there's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza?
There's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I just think that's interesting. It's pretty fucked up, don't you think?
Do I think it's fucked up?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand the point. Like,
well, I mean,
do you think anything would be standing anymore?
Well, bomb shelters are underground. I mean, they would definitely be a lot safer.
I've seen what happened to tunnels under hospitals.
Your statement is, so you say there were tunnels under hospitals.
Israel built the ones under the first one that they went into. They built it when they were occupying Gaza.
Right, that's true of that one. But I mean, they have a vast tunnel network, obviously, as everybody knows. But I don't care. I don't want to get into the weeds on this. The $1 million question is like, what can we do? Now, it's obviously insanely
Well,
difficult
as
to say.
Americans, I think we can stop aid immediately. I mean, obviously, it's not going to happen under
I'm in
Trump.
favor of that, by the way.
Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, good.
I mean, I just
I
think-
think we should call for all aid to be ceased, and I think we should stop protecting them in the
What
UN.
should have Israel done on October 8th, I guess? Like, what would have been an appropriate response for their government?
I mean,
Without
listen,
saying not this.
what should they have done on October 8th? I mean, I think that there is they're hitting strategic sites to attempt to take out leadership. They should have, but let's talk. You know, like to
Well, the
look at
leadership
that
was
moment-
underground.
Yeah, to look at that,
Well,
that moment in history, like maybe it was.
I disagree because they had to do something.
Maybe in that moment, they had to go in and bomb or whatever they do. I think that any action that they would have taken at that point, frankly, was a function of literally decades of oppressing people and attempting to bring this to an eventuality.
Right.
I mean, this was.
And so what should they have
written
done?
ages ago? Well, I mean,
You're avoiding, yeah.
Okay, I think what they should have done
Yeah.
is begun empowering Palestinians in the West Bank. They should have done.
This is
the
my
same-
favorite answer,
Okay.
Sam. You're saying that this is what Hassan told me. They should disband their government and lift the borders in response to the worst terrorist attack that's ever happened.
I think honestly, when you see that your policies have failed, but I don't think this
You
was their
actually don't believe
agenda.
that that's a real thing, though. I'm
Right.
interested in having like a real conversation. You can't like live in a fairy tale land where, in response to the worst military or terrorist attack of all time, Israel, who's already, as you state, like genocidal and racist and all these terrible things, is going to lift their borders and disband their
Well,
government.
wait a second. You're asking me what they should have done, and that's different.
No, in a
from what I
realistic way,
expect
not in a
them to
fairy
do.
tale, Sam.
Well, listen, there is no realistic thing. Their agenda has been, it has been quite clear. Their agenda has been, since Ariel Sharon walked on the Temple Mount and tried to scuttle peace talks, the agenda since the assassination of Rabin by arch Zionists in Israel, the agenda has been to bring about this moment. There is no doubt about it.
So wrapping this debate up, it's clear that Ethan wasn't really looking for an honest answer. He just wanted Sam to repeat something he could call unrealistic. Every time Sam tried to shift the conversation towards history, root causes, or policy failures, Ethan would just yank it back to hypotheticals or throw out this weird realistic versus fairy tale frame. Like the only valid responses are the ones that fit within the system that caused the crisis in the first place. And when Sam finally lays out how deep the agenda goes, from Ariel Sharon to Rabin's assassination to Netanyahu's long game, Ethan just shrugs it off like it's too uncomfortable to deal with. That's the problem. Sam came in ready to unpack the real structural rot, and Ethan just wanted to debate from the surface with his own biases. And speaking of bias, are you getting tired of getting news from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite? How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, whether it's left, right, or center, are covering the same story, so you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get a 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights in media bias and political trends. So stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.